Hello, my lovies! Welcome back to My True Life. My name is Kaya Quintana, and I am crazy about journaling, planning, and organizing. And this little baby right here is my new bullet journal. And I want to show you what it looks like on the inside to hopefully inspire you to try a minimalistic approach to bullet journaling if your brain craves it, just like mine does at the moment. Because I used to be in a bigger bullet journal, so let's check that one out first and then dive into this one and show you what it's all about and how I use it. So this is the leather cover for my A5 bullet journal. I got the cover on Etsy. What's in here is an A5 Leuchtturm bullet journal in collaboration with Ryder Carroll. Ryder Carroll is the guy who designed, created, or came up with the initial bullet journal method. So I am very thankful that he did because it helped me to be more productive, understand how my brain works, and to really use it. Now, this is like very elaborate. This is like really thought through and very well set up. But as you may be able to tell, it's a lot of work. I use this journal every day, but I stopped using it on March 27th. So let me tell you why. So this is an A5 journal. This is an A6, which is definitely smaller, especially when you take off the cover. But this is a size difference, okay? A5, A6. So what had happened is that around March, I started feeling a little overwhelmed by constantly having to keep up with these bigger pages. So I started dividing the pages in half. I was like, maybe I can store notes here. But day after day, I could tell I wasn't using this note section. And I just started to get really annoyed by the fact that I was using pretty much no paper. And so I was like, you know what? I'll start the next day underneath the day before. And my brain started feeling really cluttered and overwhelmed. So here is a note section, which I actually used, but I was getting annoyed by the fact that I wasn't using all the paper. I felt like I was wasting it. Also, this is an A5 bullet journal, which I love when I have really busy times and schedules, because I sometimes juggle multiple clients and multiple projects as a business owner. And so I do need a lot of paper space to write every meeting note or to have like a lot of space to like organize my thoughts and tasks. But it's quite chill right now because I changed up my business model, which allows me to have a little bit more free time, earn more by working less. So I have less tasks. And this also felt overwhelming because I didn't feel like setting up every month with a new theme and like a new page for events, and I didn't feel like doing like brain dumping. Like it was all just a little too much, and my brain was just like, this ain't working right now. Will I go back to the A5 journal? Probably. I don't know when, but I probably will when my life gets busier and I have more tasks and more projects, because then bigger pages are very helpful. And honestly, this Leuchtturm bullet journal in collaboration with Ryder Carroll, the paper is amazing. This is my favorite kind of paper. So yeah, I love writing on this and it makes me feel really good. But yeah, too much paper left, not really using it to the fullest, and also feeling a lot of overwhelm in my brain, seeing these big pages and not just having like this compact overview. Those are the three main reasons why I stopped using this A5 journal on the 27th of March. Also, a few days later, I went on my first workation, and I didn't want to bring this whole thing with me because it's pretty big and heavy, and we were traveling to Rome, Italy, and I was like, let me travel light. So that's when I invested in this pretty baby. So this is basically a very simple Hobonichi plain notebook. It has absolutely no embellishments, nothing. It doesn't even have like an index page or pre-printed, what's it called? page numbers, geez Louise. Literally, there's nothing in here. The only kind of design that you will see here is that every few set of pages, the color of the grid changes. So this is like a purple grid. This is more like a green grid. I don't know if the camera picks it up, by the way. This is the blue, and there's also red. I think I've already gone through red. Yeah, here is red. So that's the only design you will find in this Hobonichi plain techo. It also doesn't have like an interesting cover at all. The cover is simply yellow. To show you what you'd be looking for if you're looking for this plain Hobonichi techo, it's this one. So you might hear a slight change in audio. That's because apparently my audio stopped recording while I was filming, but this is the Hobonichi plain techo notebook that I was talking about that is inside my cover. The cover itself is quite flimsy. It's made of thicker cardboard, but if you were to throw this in your bag just like this, I think it would get destroyed easily. I think it would budge very fast. Other than that, you can find Hobonichi techo paper in this notebook, just like the paper in the Hobonichi Weeks, which is the planner that I use in combination with this plain notebook. And like I said, there's no fancy designs or anything. It's just a lot of nice thin paper. And because the cover is not that strong, it's why I bought the extra cover. And I bought all of this at penstore.now, and I'm not promoting them, but it's a store that I've been buying from for a few years now. They ship fast. They're the only ones that have a lot of Hobonichi items in the Netherlands, but I think they ship throughout Europe, so maybe that'd be a good option for you. And then as you can see, this is a cover on cover, which I bought new. And then that lavender A6 cover underneath is also new because my inner 5-year-old was like, buy it, you want it. And then I got this pencil board, which I don't really use that much. I just really like the print. I never really understood the use of pencil boards. I mean, I know why people use them, but for me, it doesn't seem to be like a necessary thing. So yeah, this is my bullet journal setup right now. We have the pencil board, we have the cover with the cover on cover, and then the plain Hobonichi techo. So let's talk setup. It is very, very simple. As you can see, I created a little first page with my name, my email address, my phone number, or my office number actually, it's not my personal number, and then the option to email me, so you know how to reach me when I lose this. I also brought this bullet journal to Rome in Italy with me, and I was like, yeah, if I lose this, I'm like screwed, so let's at least put my contact info there. Then I skipped some pages for maybe an index that I want to create later, or some extra information that I would like to store, but so far I haven't used it yet. So I made this really simple cover page for April. As you can see, it's very, very simple. And if you are, subscribed to my YouTube channel for a longer time, you know that I love collaging and making them really big and intricate. But this time I just used 3 stickers. That's it. Very simple. My brain was like, yeah, no, we're not doing this. We're gonna keep it simple. So on the right page, I decided to create a goal box. My goal for this month in revenue is 15,000 euros. So that is what I want to work towards too. Don't know if it's actually gonna happen, but hey, I've done it before, I can do it again. So that's just my goal as a business owner, and I use this bullet journal for business tasks mostly. And then you see my event overview. So in this A6 notebook, I can easily fit 31 days in a row. And then I have my week numbers on the sides and my most important events in this event overview to make sure I don't forget anything. And I also know on which days I do not book anything else because I have an important thing to do over there. And I love how compact and relaxed the overview is when I put everything on this smaller page compared to an A5 page. Then we have a task dump page, which is a page I always have. I use it every month to put down tasks that don't have like a specific date, but I do want to get to them sometime. So it's also kind of a brain dump, if you will, and I really like using it. And then I go straight into my own modified bullet journal method. As you can see, I've been using 1 page per day. For some reason, I skipped this page on the left. I don't even know why. But yeah, this is what it looks like when I actually put this journal to use. I like how I can set it up quite spacious, and I still have enough space to add more tasks. And the header is really simple. As you can see, I just put the day and the date, and then I put my tasks. I use color coding. I will get into that later. But as you can see, I just keep it really simple, and I put my tasks down and I keep it spacious, and everything fits on 1 page. I even have some space left. But compared to my A5 journal, I'm using pretty much all of the paper for like 75%. And my A5 bullet journal would always have a lot of white space left. And so I feel like I'm being more productive using this smaller journal this way. So let's set up a page together. As you can see, I'm using a mildliner in a very soft blue shade as my header. That's all I do. I don't do any embellishments or decorating. I keep it simple AF because my brain needs it. And then all I do is write down the day, the date, and the year because I want to use this as an archive as well. I often just flip back through my bullet journal and see what I did on specific days. And I've learned that I have some trends and some habits that come back on certain days. So that's kind of interesting, and that's why I also love to use that date on the top. And then obviously it is time to write down the tasks. Now I don't use the symbols the way writer Carol does. I use a simple dot, and that dot represents a task. So something I always do on Monday is a mailbox check. So I have set tasks for certain days, and I tend to skip 1 line because I like that spacious setup. I used to use every line, but it looked a little bit scrunched up. So I like some enters, if you will. And so here is another thing that I do. So as you can see, I wrote down, write a podcast episode. Now here is where I changed the bullet journal method in a way that suits me, because what I now do is, instead of listing all the tasks that belong to this one to make sure that I actually write the podcast all the way down, I decided to make and work with indents. So in the original bullet journal method, you'd place all the dots underneath each other, but in my method, I skip a box and place another dot more inward. And that indicates that the big task, like writing a podcast episode, consists out of more steps or smaller details and mini tasks. And it helps my brain to understand that writing a podcast episode also means I have to record the podcast, I have to edit it, I have to write a newsletter and send it for promotion, I have to create a social media post, and I also have to create a TikTok video. So visually, it helps my brain understand that yes, this is one big task, but if you finish the smaller ones below, like 5 small steps make 1 big step kind of theory. You know what I mean? So hopefully I explained this right, but this is why I don't just place all of my dots in a row straight underneath each other. I love using these indents because it shows me that I also have smaller tasks and mini details I need to pay attention to. So hopefully this gives you an idea on how to break down bigger projects or bigger tasks by using indentations and make it visually easy for you to recognize what small details need to be done to fix the big one. Now, if another new big task comes up, I place the dot in the original lineup. So I don't make an indentation, I just go back towards that original line all the way down. And this helps me see that there's a new task that doesn't belong to the former one. So hopefully that makes it clear what I mean. You may have also noticed I don't use the same symbols that writer Carol does. I just use the dots. I don't use arrows or anything, but I do use this asterisk kind of symbol, so like a little star, if you will. And I use that one to indicate that the task that is next to this little symbol is very important and it needs to be that day. No excuses. Later on, I will also show you that I use color coding to make sure that my brain understands that that task is really, really important. But that's what I do to make sure that I do not skip a task. I use that asterisk sign to make sure it actually gets done. And then I can go over to other tasks and use indentations to create little mini or tasks, if you will. And I really like that visual way of bullet journaling. So let's talk color coding. I have these big markers. These are pastel ones. As you can see, I've had them for a while, I think at least a few years. They're still going strong. It's crazy. But these are pastel colored. I don't like neon markers. They hurt my eyes and annoy my brain. So you'll usually see me use these softer pastel markers, whether they're from the brand Big or Mild Liner by Zebra Sarasa, I think. I also have those. And you can tell I use the green one the most. So let's start with red. I use the red marker to indicate that a task is very, very important and it needs to be done today. So I don't just use the asterisk like I used that for my bookkeeper task. I really need to mail him. I also use this red marker because the red indicates my brain, or indicates to my brain, girl, get this shit done. And usually the markers don't smudge. It's smudged a little bit now, but I think it's because I didn't wait long enough for the ink to dry. But I love how this red signals to my brain, girl, get this done. And it also looks really nice on the page because they're a bit more towards pastel and not that neon-y stuff. So here is a previous day. You can tell that I've also used a green marker, and green means good. So the more tasks I marked green, the more I actually finished. Now, when I use my yellow marker, it means I didn't finish the task and I am moving it to the next day. So that's how I use green and yellow, and I also love how it looks on a page because yellow makes it very clear that I still have stuff to do, and green makes me feel good because I did a lot of things that I was supposed to do. Then there's also blue. I like using blue for tasks that don't have a specific end date, but I do want to finish them somewhere in the same month. So for example, I had to finish a course and make some templates. I didn't have a specific date because they were not that urgent, but blue makes it very clear to me that they're still important enough to put in my task dump. Remember that page? I put it at the front in my spread for April. So, if I create a blue marked task, I will put it on my task dump page. And it makes it very clear that those tasks are something I really want to do, but they are not that urgent and I can finish them somewhere in the month when I have the time. And I almost forgot to share which pen I've been using, and it is the Sarasa Mark On pen. It works pretty well on Hobonichi paper. It dries quite quickly. And then I use these big markers, and I also have these Sarasa or Zebra mild liners, which are also very nice on the Hobonichi paper. So these are the 3 pens and markers that I love using, and I've been using them for years, so you can tell I really love them. I don't do much decorating, as you may be able to tell, but you know what? For this day, this coming Monday, we're gonna make it look a little cute. If I do add embellishments in this very minimalistic bullet journal, I usually put them in the right bottom corner. And that's my very, very simple and minimalistic bullet journal setup in this A6 Hobonichi plain notebook. And I hope it inspires you to keep it simple and minimalistic and really just adjust the bullet journal method to what your brain needs and what your life needs at this moment. At first I was like, I don't want to buy another notebook, but honestly, since I've been using this, my brain just relaxed. I love how it looks. I love how simple and airy the pages look, and it just makes me want to get done more. And because the paper is quite fresh looking, it's not too white but it's not too yellow, my markers show up very nicely. The colors are very soft and bright enough for me to notice them, and because of those soft colors, I feel very accomplished. When I see green, I'm like, oh, that's good, and it just works for my brain so well. So hopefully I explained how you can use this very simple bullet journal method. If this video was helpful in any way, shape, or form, definitely let me know in a comment below. I'm also always looking for your tips and tricks because, maybe you know something that I don't, and I love learning about planning and organizing a little bit better. And if you like this video, definitely thumbs up and subscribe. We're almost at 1,000 friends here on my True Life channel, so I'd love for you to join. And thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next one. Love you. Goodbye.